From translation, TLB The Living Bible this 125 day of the year. Today we are reading passages 1 Chronicles 12-14, 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verses 1 to 27. These are the men who came to David at Ziklag, while he was hiding from Saul son of Kish. They were among the warriors who helped him in battle. They were archers skilled with both the left and right hands in using the bow and shooting arrows or throwing stones with a sling. They were Saul's relatives from the tribe of Benjamin. The chief was Ahiezer, then Joash, both sons of Shemar from Jibah. Jeziel and Pelet were sons of Asmaveth, Barakah and Jehu from Anathoth. Ishmaiah from Gibon was a mighty warrior among the 30. He was chief of the 3. Jeremiah, Jahaziel, Johanan and Jozabad were from Gedera. Eluzai, Jeremoth, Beliah, Shemariah and Shephatiah were from Hariph. Elkanah, Ishiah, Aziel, Joza, and Jashubam were from the Korahites, and Jola and Zebediah were sons of Jeroham from Gedor. Some Gadites defected to David at his stronghold in the wilderness. They were brave warriors, ready for battle, and could handle shield and spear. Their faces were like the faces of lions, and they were as swift as gazelles on the mountains. Ezer was the chief, Obadiah the second in command, Eliab the third, Mishmannah the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Attai the sixth, Eliel the seventh, Johanan the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the 10th, Machbenai the 11th. These Gadites were the commanders of the army. The least was a match for 100, and the greatest for 1,000. It was they who crossed the Jordan at its time of flood in the first month, and put to flight all the valleys to the east and west. Then some of the men of Benjamin and Judah came to David at his stronghold. David went out to meet them and said, "If you have come to me in peace to help me, my heart will be united with yours. But if you have come to betray me to my enemies, though my hands have done no wrong, may the God of our fathers see and judge you." Then the Spirit came upon Amasai, chief of the 30, and he said, "We are yours, O David. We are with you, O son of Jesse. Peace, peace to you, and peace to your helpers, for your God helps you." So David received them and made them leaders of his troops. Some of the men from Manasseh, Judah, and Benjamin defected to David when he came with the Philistines to fight against Saul. But when he was about to go into battle with them, the commanders of the Philistines sent him away, saying, "He will go back to his master at the risk of his life." Then he went to the stronghold at Ziklag, and some men from Manasseh defected to him: Adnah, Jozabad, Jediel, Michael, Jozabad, Elihu, and Zilithai, leaders of thousands in Manasseh. These men helped David in his raids against the Jeshurites, the Girzites, and the Amalekites, for they had been living in that land for a long time. And day after day men came to David to help him until he had a great army, like the army of God. Now these are the numbers of the men equipped for war who came to David at Hebron to turn Saul's kingdom over to him, as the Lord had said. From Judah, carrying shield and spear, 68,000 ready for military service. From Simeon, warriors ready for battle, 71,000. From Levi, 46,000. Jehudah the leader of the Aaronites, and with him 37,000. Zadok, a young valiant warrior, and 22 leaders from his father's house. From Benjamin, Saul's relatives, 3,000, most of them had remained loyal to Saul's house. From Ephraim, 20,000, 800 mighty warriors famous in their own clans. From half the tribe of Manasseh, 18,000, designated by name to come and make David king. From Issachar, men who understood the times and knew what Israel should do, 200 chiefs, with all their relatives under their command. From Zebulun, 50,000 trained for battle with every kind of weapon, ready to help with uprightness of heart. From Naphtali, 1,000 commanders, with 37,000 men carrying shield and spear. From Dan, 28,600 trained for battle. From Asher, 40,000 trained for battle. From the region east of the Jordan, Reuben and Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh, 120,000 equipped with every kind of weapon for battle. All these were warriors who were ready to go to war. They came to Hebron fully determined to make David king over all Israel, and all the rest of Israel were also of one mind to make David king. For 7 days David and his men feasted with them at Hebron. And those who were near, as far as Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali, were bringing food on donkeys, camels, mules, and oxen, abundant supplies of flour, fig cakes, raisin cakes, wine, oil, cattle, and sheep. For there was joy in Israel. 1 Chronicles chapter 13, verses 1 to 14. David conferred with each of his commanders, thousands and commanders of hundreds. Then he said to the whole assembly of Israel, "If it seems good to you, and if it is the will of the Lord our God, let us send word far and wide to the rest of our brothers throughout the territories of Israel, and also to the priests and Levites in their towns and pasturelands, to come together to us. And let us bring the ark of our God back to us. For we did not inquire of it during the reign of Saul." The whole assembly agreed to do this, for it seemed right to all the people. So David assembled all Israel, from the Shihor River in Egypt to Lebo-Hamath, to bring the ark of God from Kiriath-Jearim. When they came to the threshing floor of Nachon, Uzzah reached out his hand to steady the ark, because the oxen stumbled. The anger of the Lord burned against Uzzah, and he struck him down because he had put his hand on the ark. So he died there beside the ark of God. David was angry because the Lord's wrath had broken out against Uzzah, and to this day that place is called Perez Uzzah. David was afraid of God that day and said, "How can I ever bring the ark of God to me?" He was not willing to take it to be with him in the city of David. Instead, he took it aside to the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. The ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite for 3 months, and the Lord blessed him and his entire household. Now King David was told, "The Lord has blessed the household of Obed-Edom and everything he has, because of the ark of God." So David went down and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. When those who were carrying the ark of the Lord had gone 6 steps, David sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf. Wearing a linen ephod, David was dancing before the Lord with all his might, while he and all Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouts of joy and the sounding of the trumpet. 1 Chronicles chapter 14, verses 1 to 14. Now Hiram king of Tyre sent envoys to David, along with cedar logs, carpenters and stonemasons, and they built a palace for David. Then David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel, and that his kingdom had been highly exalted for the sake of his people Israel. In Jerusalem, David took more wives and became the father of more sons and daughters. These are the names of the children born to him there: Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Elpelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Biliada, and Eliphelet. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over all Israel, they went up in full force to search for him, but David heard about it and went out to meet them. Now the Philistines had come and raided the valley of Rephaim, so David inquired of God, "Shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me?" The Lord answered him, "Go, for I will surely hand the Philistines over to you." So David and his men went up to Baal-perazim, and there he defeated them. He said, "As waters break out, God has broken out against my enemies by my hand." So that place was called Baal-perazim. The Philistines had abandoned their gods there, and David gave orders to burn them in the fire. Once more the Philistines raided the valley. So David inquired of God again, and God answered him, "Do not go straight up, but circle around them and attack them in front of the balsam trees. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the balsam trees, move out to battle, for that will mean God has gone out in front of you to strike down the Philistine army." So David did as God commanded him, and they struck down the Philistine army all the way from Gibon to Jezer. So David's fame spread throughout every land, and the Lord made all the nations fear him.